Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of CookieCast. Today on CookieCast, it's the Darkest Timeline podcast. So you got me talking about stuff that I've been doing, and then talking about things that I've been doing, like, games and movies and TV and stuff like that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. If you're listening, you can subscribe. If you're watching, you can subscribe. Basically, if you are all about the CookieCast, you can subscribe and let us know how much you love what we're doing. So yeah. Anyway, let's crack on. This is CookieCast, the Darkest Timeline podcast. Hey, how you doing? You alright? Can you hear me? I've got some weird settings. I might be very loud. That could be a problem. Nobody wants to hear me very loud. But we'll see how we get on. I think it's those big bits, things like that might be loud. You might have to turn me down. Like so many women. How you doing? You alright? You well? You been up to? You been busy? Shut up, computer. Nobody cares what you think. Good week so far. Good weekend. You have a nice time. Get some rest in. Maybe you were working. Who knows? So, where to begin? Would help if I was on the correct note page. Here we go. I should get comfortable. I'm leaning Tower of Cook at this point. How's that? Can you hear me? Looks good. Okay, let's go with that. So, my youngest daughter was like, I want a gift. It's a year ago to the day that I had COVID. What would be a really good gift to honour the occasion, to mark the fact that a year after getting COVID, still rocking? And apparently the answer to that question is COVID. Obviously, I don't like to talk about it. We know this. I did mention some stuff at the end of last week's episode. Irony, anybody? Yes, the youngest daughter decided to mark the occasion of getting COVID a year ago by getting COVID again. So yeah, got it from exactly the same place she got it last time, which is nice. But it's okay. Don't worry. Don't you fret yourself. It's not their fault. It's everyone else's fault. It's absolutely nothing to do with them. It's everybody else's fault because everyone else is out, getting back to normal. And that's the reason that everybody is getting the COVID. As I said back in the last week, we're closing in on 2 years now, and what I can say is, for all the vaccines, for all the boosters, for all the staying indoors, not being able to go to the shops when you want, for all of that, nearly 2 years down the line, I have never known it affect as many things as it does now. And that would seem to be very weird when it's absolutely under control. So I had to take her for a PCR test As I'm sure anybody would imagine, that was loads of fun. Not as much fun as when she had a negative result, no COVID, and then 2-3 days later started displaying symptoms of COVID, had a positive lateral flow test, had to go for another PCR test, and by this point she was like, yeah, I'm done with this shit. So the second one was an absolute nightmare. But, got it done. Within 24, 48 hours we had the result, and the result was a positive COVID test. So 10 days of isolation for her. So there was that. There's that. That's that. As I am, I'm in the double jab club. Means I am still able to move around. I don't have to isolate, although I do have to do a PCR test for a multitude of different reasons, all because it's everyone else's fault. No, I don't have a bee in my bonnet about that. But, as we know, I don't like to talk about it. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move on from that. What I can tell you is this. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about will explain why this week's podcast is probably going to be a quick one. I'm not sure if I talked about this last week or if I've talked about this previously. I've put that it continues, so I'm guessing I kind of might have talked about it before. And I think at the time I talked about it, maybe last week, I was saying that this is something that's come up in the past that I've talked about. The possibility of being cursed. And I'm not talking like, oh, something went wrong sort of thing. I mean, like, somebody has physically gone out and put a voodoo curse on me. Because it's just one thing after another. One thing after another. Like, bad shit happens, then bad shit happens, then bad shit happens. And I will give you an example of this. Obviously, in the last few weeks, we've had the broken bone incident. A situation that never really seems to get any better. In a lot of different ways. Then we've been hit with another bout of the COVID, and then I went out the door for a run. I was like, right, it's time to go for a run. And as I'm walking out the door, I'm putting my earphones in, get ready to listen to a lovely podcast. And as I'm putting them in my ears, I'm looking down and I'm like, what the fuck is that? What the fuck is that, ladies and gentlemen, is a flat tyre. Now, anybody who's been listening along for the last few weeks and the curse that's been going on and the saga that's been going on with the car will know that a flat tyre is a very strange situation to deal with when at that point, 2 weeks, in the 2 weeks running up to that point, I had 4 new tyres fitted to the car, and it took 5 attempts to do that. Anybody who doesn't know the story is now going, how has it taken 5 attempts to fit 4 tyres? Does it help to tell you that I had to take it to 2 different garages for 2 different things to be able to get those tyres put on? So I'm there and I'm looking, I'm like, the fuck is going on here? Flat car tyre. And I'm like, okay, what? So I go back in the house and I'm like, hey, you're never going to guess what? Got a flat tyre. And the where we're at now in the house, the position we're at now, is in the camp of, well, of course there's a flat tyre. Why wouldn't there be a flat tyre? Now, here's the thing. I used that car twice since getting the fourth tyre put on. I think, well, I know for a fact one of them was to go and get the shopping. As a vehicle, I'm actually staying away from using it, largely because I imagine it's going to blow up at any minute. So, I haven't been using it. So there's a flat tyre. So I'm like, okay, that needs seeing to. Let me have a look, because I'm pretty sure there's something in the boot. And what I thought was in the boot was an electric tyre pump. That's what I thought was in the boot. I had to dig around, and there it is. It's got some fairly cryptic instructions on it, but I'm like, I can work this out. It's got two pipes, one for something and one for something else. Not entirely sure what they are, but one of them seems to be for tyres. Okay, so I'll use the white pipe. You need to turn a knob so that it's on tyre, put the thing on the tyre, plug it into your, what back in the day would have been your cigarette holder, cigarette lighter, plug it into there, turn the car on, so the car is running, turn the machine on, tyre should inflate. There's a lot of other instructions, a lot to do with how much pressure you can get into the tyre. Depends how far or for how long you can then drive the tyre. So, I'm like, right, okay. I think I've got it. I think I know what's happening here. So, plug it into the tyre, plug it into the car, turn the car on, turn the machine on, and away it goes. I'm like, okay, this is working. Looking, the dial's going up and down. It's saying one thing, it's saying something else. It's going to... And then I'm like, pretty sure that tyre is inflating. As far as I can see, the tyre is inflating. So we're on a winner. So, I get through the process. The tyre basically inflates to what I believe is an adequate amount to be able to drive it. It's saying it's got the right pressure in it. We're good. So, I then look at the machine again. I'm like, pretty sure the bar across the top that gave me a load of information was green when I plugged it in, when I took it out of the packet and stuff. But now it's yellow, amber, whatever you want to sort of call it. So, I'm like, hang on a minute. If it was green and it's now yellow, that would suggest that something's happened. Something's affecting this machine. Why does that symbol look like a can being shaken? I was like, fuck. As I unscrew the pipe from the tyre, all this white stuff's coming out, which I initially think is tyre soap, which, for those of you who don't know, tyre soap is used to put a tyre on a rim, makes it slippy and makes it go on easy. After a while, I'm like, I think this is coming out of the machine. I think this machine is not something that inflates your tyre. I think this is something that put stuff into your tyre to seal it, to then inflate it. Shit. Thinking about it now, I'm pretty sure the other option might have just inflated the tyre. Balls. Anyway, so I'm like, fuck. Tyre's inflated though, so, pack everything away. And I ring the place, the same place that's done all 4 tyres. Hi, been in a few times in the last few weeks, and I've come out to my car this morning and I've got a flat tyre. And there's just silence. I'm like, is there any chance I can bring it in for you to have a look at it? Yeah, bring it in this afternoon. This garage, it's an odd place because they don't take any details when they tell you to come in. They're like, just come in this afternoon. Like, okay, I'll see you then. So I go and I tell the guy, one of the guys that's there is a guy I've been dealing with. And he's like, yeah, you've been in a lot. You're not having a lot of luck, are you? I was like, no. He's like, right, okay. We'll have a look. Now, let's not beat around the bush here. Let's not mix our words. I can't say 100%, but I'm basically 100% sure that this is something they've done. I'm like, you haven't sealed the tyre properly, and all the air's come out because this tyre was flat. And all I can think is, I haven't done enough with or to this car to end up with a flat tyre. The guy's like, oh, depending on what stuff has gone into the tyre to inflate it, you might have killed that tyre. Depending, like if we find something that's, the tyre's been deflated, then that tyre might be dead. Like, of course it will be. Why wouldn't it? So, come back in an hour. I'm like, okay, an hour is not ideal, but cool, I'll be back in an hour. Go away, come back in an hour. Noticing the car is on a jack and a wheel is off the car. I'm like, this is bad news. You're going to show me that something's happened to the vehicle, which has basically punctured the tire, but it's actually damage to the car. Brilliant. So the guy's like, oh, do you want to show this guy what's wrong with his car? I'm like, here we go. It's like, there you go. That's what's wrong with your tyre. Screw right through the centre of the tyre, at which point it goes. And obviously because that stuff went into the tyre to inflate it, that tyre is now dead. I'm like, of course it is. Have you got a tyre you can put on? Let me have a look for you. Yeah, I've got one I can put on. I'll discount it for you because you've been in a lot recently. I'm like, no fucking shit. Now, admittedly, they did it in like 10 minutes. But in case you're trying to keep count or you're struggling to keep count, that's right, ladies and gentlemen. That's 5 tyres on one car in 2 weeks. It's got to the situation now where the curse is that much of a thing that other people have started using it as excuses for things. A couple of times in the last week, somebody has said, I blame this on Andy's curse. I'm like, yeah, seems fitting. At least you're getting some use out of it, more than I am. So, what else have we got? Been through the curse, been through the tyre saga. You see, I put this on my list. As I'm sure you can imagine, it's natural to shy away from stuff that makes you look bad. So I've been not going through something or not dealing with something, but kind of, but not as bad as it sounds. So here's the thing. I I own a PlayStation 4 and an Xbox One. The Xbox One, through the X number of years that I've owned it, has basically been a very big, very heavy paperweight. It had probably 10, 15, 20% as much usage as the PlayStation 4 has. And that's that. When it came to the new generation of things, I was very sour on the new generation as it was. And I was like, I'm definitely not buying both consoles. I'm just going to get the PlayStation 5 because the PlayStation's got all the exclusives. Obviously, getting a PlayStation 5 is impossible, and by the sounds of it, it's going to continue to be impossible until this generation ends. So, who knows? That might be part of what's going on. A friend of mine, a podcast alum, mentioned to me a little while ago, I've got an Xbox. Why have you done that? Why would you do that? You said you weren't getting both consoles, because he also owns a PlayStation 5. I got it for this reason. I was like, that's not a good enough reason. I got it for this reason. That's not a good enough reason. I got it for this reason. Look, whatever. You do you. That's that. And at the time, he mentioned that he got it through some kind of scheme. And I was like, I'm sure it's going to have cost you more than it should have done. Last week, for some reason, it gets mentioned again. I'm like, what is this thing you're talking about? It's like, you get an Xbox, digital Xbox, and you can just pay for it monthly, and that's that. I was like, okay. I was like, you're paying twice as much for the Xbox than it costs to buy one new. He's like, no, because you're also getting Game Pass for 2 years. You're paying for that as well. I'm like, well, how much is Game Pass a year? Turns out, about 250 quid for 2 years. What it actually means is he's not paying any more. He's not paying it. It's zero interest. I'm like, okay. So where's the downside? Other than paying, £21 a month, where's the downside? And then things went wrong. Because a situation like that, to me, it's a puzzle that needs to be worked out. It's the crossword for people that love crosswords. It's the puzzle box for people that love puzzle boxes. It's the Rubik's Cube for people that love Rubik's Cubes. You get what I'm saying? It's a puzzle that needs to be solved as far as I'm concerned. Oh, can I afford £21 a month? Is there a downside to this? I really wanted the PS5, but that's not going to happen. And if you just get the digital Xbox, then paying, obviously you've got Game Pass for 2 years, so you're not having to pay any more for that. And then you get all the, anything that comes out on the Xbox basically goes out onto Game Pass day one. So you're going to get those games. You're going to be saving like 50, what is now 60 quid a time for games. It's a no-brainer. This was also, I will point this out, this also coincides with the release of Forza 5. Now, Forza Horizon 5, sorry. Now, I will say this. I've never been a huge fan of the Forza series. It's too much driving simulator and not enough fun for me. But I love the Forza Horizon series because that is a lot less driving simulator and a lot more fun. I've played every single one of them. I've played them multiple times. I love those games. Forza 5 comes out, I'm like, I think that might have actually been what sparked the conversation. So the next thing I'm like, well, what if I buy it outright? How much is it to buy outright? I can get a digital Xbox for 250 quid. Obviously, you've got to get a second controller, so there's that. You need 2 years worth of Game Pass, which you can't do to my knowledge, I can only find 6 months. Pretty sure at one point I'd seen you could do it for a year. Couldn't find that. 6 months, 48 quid. Okay, so 48 quid with 54 and the 250, 350 gets me through 6 months. And then after 6 months, you just buy another 6 months and all this. So it's gone round and round and round and round and round and round and round for days. Got to solve the problem, got to solve the problem. What is the problem? How do I work it? Work from a different angle. Can I look at it this way? Can I look at it that way? Can I look at it the other way? Here's the thing. And this is where I've started to look at. I've started to look inwards and go, but there was a solution to this problem all along. I just wanted to find the best way to do it. But the best way to do it was actually the simplest way to do it. And the simplest way to do it is something that I did literally half an hour ago, which was to go upstairs, unplug the Xbox One, bring it downstairs, plug it into the TV downstairs, pay £1 for a month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, let's add some more words, and then download Forza 5 through Game Pass. It's downloading as we speak, or at least I think it is. Excuse me one sec. Bless you me. That was the solution. Cost me £1 and a bit of time and a bit of effort. I know there might be a little bit of a question about, well, couldn't you have done that from upstairs? That's a really long story, which involves 12 very large boxes that are in the way. Anybody that watches the video podcasts might notice that more recently I'm not in the podcast studio, games room, entertainment room, whatever you want to call it. I've joked about the fact that I'm waiting for the new podcast studio to be built, and how the millions and millions of pounds that we get paid in advertising is paying for the podcast studio. A percentage of that is true. But at this point in time, I can't get into that room. And at this point in time, I wouldn't spend any time in that room anyway because of the puppy dog. So everything has to be downstairs. And that's what's happened. It's cost me £1 to solve the problem. But it was going to cost me 500 in the way I was going to solve it, or it was going to cost me 350. But in the end, it cost me £1. And I've had to look at that. I've had to look at that and go, what is that all about? What is that? Is that the crossword? The Rubik's Cube? The puzzle box? The whatever? Is it that? Is that it? Because I've had it recently with there's a couple of games, 2 or 3 games that one. And as we'll get to in a little while, there's a reason that I want those games more recently. And it occupies massive amounts of time in the day, in my head, trying to work out, oh, well, I've got a game card that's got £10 something on it. I've already got £6 or £7 on the PlayStation Store in credit. If I get a £10 voucher, add that to the PlayStation Store credit, that's like 16, 17 quid. All I have to do is pay the difference. And on the store, the game I'm looking at is £40, whereas a lot of other places is like 46. So I'm actually saving money there. And then all I have to pay out is like 20, 22, 23 pounds, 24 pounds maybe. Is that the solution? Is that the answer? And then the next thing I'm like, but you've got a game that you're playing. Currently playing. So why do you need to do that? And I've noticed that this is a thing. More recently, it's this ongoing, I need to solve this problem that is self-made. And I don't get it. Like, what is that? Why is it there? Why does it exist? It's weird. Something I don't often talk too much about. I don't like to. The reason being is I don't want to jinx anything. I am personally on a weight loss journey. I set a target, I set a goal, and I'm on route. Initially, I set a target too high. I wanted to lose 3 pounds a week, whilst forgetting that I'm a 41-year-old man and my metabolism won't allow 3 pounds a week. So I had to reevaluate, because each week in, week out, I was disappointed. And what I was disappointed with was I wasn't getting the 3, I was getting 2. So I took a step back, reevaluated. I was like, right, let's just go for the 2 each week. If we get 3, great. If we don't get the 2, that's not as good. And week in, week out, that weight has been coming down, that weight has been coming off, as anybody who listens to this will know. I do a lot to achieve that. Intermittent fasting, running 5 times a week, working out 6 times a week, watching what I eat, only having like a cheat meal or a binge or whatever 1 day a week. It's an ongoing thing. It's an ongoing battle. It's an ongoing struggle, and it's going. It's every week in, week out. It is moving forward, just glacially slow. But that's the price you pay. This week, however, I've noticed things have slowed down. Now, a few years ago, I made the decision to lose as much weight as I could, and I lost a lot of weight. I lost 11 stone. For any Americans listening, that's £100. I believe that's £154. I'm now second guessing with those maths, but I lost around about 11 stone, and then I reached a weight loss plateau, a point in time where I couldn't go any further. A personal trainer at the time told me that I wasn't eating enough. I was eating too much sugar in the form of fruit, and I wasn't eating enough. I needed to increase my protein intake, so on and so forth. As it was, I ended up losing another stone and a half in an incredibly unhealthy way, and ended up putting back on a lot. So I'm now trying to lose that weight. But I am a man that knows a weight loss plateau when I see one. And that's where you're doing absolutely everything that you've been doing week in, week out. You're crushing it in the gym. You're running better. You're running faster. You're trying to chip away at that side of things. Your eating is on point. You may or may not have skipped a couple of meals, not intentionally, but that's what's happened. You are winning. And then the day before your cheat meal, you're like, I'll just have a little look what the scales say. And the scales say, no weight loss. And you go, well, that's not good. Luckily, the day of the cheat meal, had managed to lose a couple of pounds. Yay me. Unfortunately, by weigh-in day, which is today, I put one of those pounds back on. So it was still a loss, but not enough of a loss. So the other day I was like, right, I need to get out in front of this. Googled best way to break through a weight loss plateau, and it was mighty funny. So 10 ways to do it. One of the first ones was cut down on carbs. It's like, cool, I don't really eat carbs. You know, I eat the carbs that are in vegetables, but I don't eat bread. I don't, you know, the only carbs I eat would be crisp breads and anything, like I say, in vegetables. So there's that. Think about increasing your cardio. Okay, well, I'm running 5 days a week. Walk the dog twice a day. Barely a day goes by when I don't do my 10,000 steps. But yeah, that sounds a good idea. And it just went like that. It just went like, and basically the 10 steps were my diet and lifestyle. My favourite has to be point 10 was maybe think about trying intermittent fasting. I was like, cool, I fast for 18 hours a day. So, you know, there was that. So, yeah, I've hit a weight loss plateau, it would seem. I know what you're saying. I know what you're thinking. You are saying it's been a week and you still lost weight. I can sense it. I can feel it. I feel it in my body. So, next week, I'm changing my workout routine changes, which will be interesting. I always find it very interesting to start a new workout routine. My brother-in-law has sent it through this evening. It looks interesting. It looks tasty. I mentioned to him I wanted to start looking at doing more like arm-based exercises. Get the guns going, and he has not disappointed. Let's put it that way. So we shall see. But yes, little disappointing to have seen another weight loss plateau. So let's just have our lucky Lou. Oh my god. So, who here knows how much I love Saturdays? Everybody put your hands up. You know when you realise that you've put far too much into something. I've talked a couple of times about how excited I get for a Saturday night. It's cheat meal, it's movie, it's good times, it's 36 hours of not running or working out. It's just the best. Right up until the point in time where it isn't. And that is when you forget the last time your youngest daughter had COVID, she went through a sleep regression. So I attempted to eat my tea. Just about managed to do that before I had to go and comfort the child. Back downstairs, movie back on, get a drink. Back upstairs, comfort the child. This went on and on and on. Eventually I had to get the child up. And it was the realisation that I was just like, okay, I've put way too much emphasis on this. Because I was getting annoyed, I was getting angry, I was getting upset. Because I was like, this is my time. This is the point in time that I want to decompress, to earn, to get the payment, the reward, whatever, for the stuff that I've earned throughout the week, that I've put the time and the effort and the sweat and the, all of that that's gone into it converges on that point in time. And that was that. And then again, like with other things that I've talked about in this podcast, I had to reevaluate what was going on. My daughter was upset, inconsolable, couldn't lay her down, couldn't get her to go to sleep. And in the end, it was a case of, who cares? Who cares about watching a movie or any of that sort of stuff? All that matters is that she's okay and she's all right. In the end, I ended up giving up the bed. It was like, look, you sleep here. I'm going to go and sleep on the sofa. Job done. That's that. That was it. And that was what was important. That was what was ultimately important. But, and there is a but, it kind of made me chuckle a little bit. Because I was like, that's what you get for putting too much emphasis on something. Because then when that thing's taken away, it's like the world's ending. And the world wasn't ending. Not for me. It was for her. So, yeah, that was that. I need to reevaluate my Saturday. Maybe it's not as all important. So, as I mentioned earlier, that is why I can't tell you about the film I watched, because I never finished it. I watched an hour of a 2.25 hour movie. And that was that. So I can't tell you about the film I watched. What I can tell you is I've been keeping up with watching Burn Notice, Series 2 of Burn Notice. Not religiously, just little snippets of episodes here and there. I find an episode takes me about a week to watch. Still enjoying it. It's still a great show. The other thing I can update you on is I've been watching What We Do in the Shadows Series 3. Knocked out a couple of episodes this evening. I find this difficult to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think I'm enjoying this series as much. It feels like a bit of a mess. It feels like they don't know what they're doing. Like, we have these, they have the first series, which was great. We have the second series, which was fantastic. Where do we go from here? How do we keep these characters, for want of a better way of putting it, alive? How do we keep these characters going? How do we keep these characters developing? And I think, I was talking about it this evening, and I was saying, I think the biggest problem I have is my favourite character in it is Laszlo. And it just feels like Laszlo is this spare wheel. It's like they have absolutely no idea what to do with his character. So they've just put him on this like an island with Colin Robinson. And then they're just like, oh, you guys go and do whatever. We'll focus on something else. And it just feels weird. It's still enjoyable. It still makes me laugh. It still makes me chuckle. But yeah, I'm not really sure what it is we're achieving with this series. I haven't finished it. I don't know how close I am to finishing it. I do wonder if it's gonna suddenly change or suddenly become something else. I don't know. But yeah, it's been weird. Computer games. Here we go, computer games. It finally happened. I kind of sensed it was going to, but it finally happened. I have now finished Far Cry 6. I think at this point in time, it's it's become fairly evident, it's become kind of obvious. I think that I would consider this to be the best Far Cry game since Far Cry 3. It's not better than Far Cry 3, but it's the best since. Now I know what you're thinking. Not hugely strong competition there. No, it isn't. But it came close. I'm not going to lie. There was some really enjoyable things about this game. A couple of things to just get out of the way. As a game, it got quite repetitive towards the back end because there was so much to do, like clear this checkpoint, clear this base, clear this, do this mission where you got to go and collect something, do this mission where you got to go and collect something else. Having done that for many, 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 many hours, as you can imagine, quite repetitive. Something that really surprised me, but at the same time didn't, is the quality of the missions really dropped off at the back end. There was a mission at the back end of that game which was, go and find 10 jammers. We all love the find the jammers. And I was like, we're doing this now? This has got to be like a couple of levels, a couple of missions before the end. And we're doing this now? Now, admittedly, it did give you a little bit of a get out of jail free card because so far through it went, you've knocked out enough jammers. We've managed to find the place that you're going to, so don't worry about the rest. I was like, you told me there was 10, so I'm going to do all 10. Which I did. Maybe there was a little bit of an element of dragging the last bit of the game out because I knew it was coming to an end. I really enjoyed it. It was a really good game. It was really enjoyable to play. Like I've said throughout when I've been reviewing this game, it's had its ups and downs. Quality-wise, had its ups and downs. The glitches here and there, some design choices, that whole thing where you go into a new area and it completely turns off all of the HUD. It's like, what reason for this? It makes navigation super difficult. Things like that, which were just odd choices. I kind of wish they'd have sorted it out in maybe an update or something, but it never seemed to happen. The game did that thing, and I'm not going to lie, it's not something I really like, where it went, you finished the game, but there's more game. It's like, okay, talk to me. It's like, yeah, each week, I was like, and I'm out. Yeah, so each week, there's an area of the map that will get taken back by the bad guys, and it'll be more difficult and it'll be a higher level, and you've got to reclaim it from the bad guys. I was like, no, I'm good, thanks. We've finished the game. Credits rolled. Turn it off. So that was that. I started playing last night the PlayStation Plus game for this month, which I believe is called Kingdom of Amalur. Now, I remember this game originally. This is a remaster of a game from a long time ago. I believe this game was available on the PS3. I believe this is the second time it's been available on PlayStation Plus. It is an RPG, and a bog standard RPG at that. Although, having played an hour and a half of it, I found it to be quite fun. I remember enjoying it a lot. Previously, having played it previously, like I say, I'm pretty sure I've played it before, and I'm pretty sure I really enjoyed it. So there's that side of things. But as I've mentioned, I am currently, or at least I hope I am, currently downloading Forza 5. Not gonna lie. If it's downloaded tonight, which it said it was 109 gig and was going to take just short of 10 hours to download, so it's probably not going to be this evening. But if it is, I'm absolutely playing Forza 5, let's put it that way. Oh, excuse me. And if I'm playing Forza 5, you know I'm going to be updating you with how that's going. That, ladies and gents, is that. That is the end of the podcast. Thank you for riding along with me, being my ride or die bitches. Excuse me, I've inhaled wrong and now I've got a tickle. So, best thing to do is to say bye to you guys and I'll catch you next time. Keep it real. Bye. So there you go. What do you think to that? Another podcast done. Another week closer to... I think we both know what it's close to. Let's not say it, hey? So yeah, that's it for this one. If you're watching, listening, or just all about the CookieCast love, that's great. Do think about subscribing wherever you're getting your podcasts, whether it's SoundCloud, iTunes, or YouTube, and anywhere else that you might be getting them. You can also jump over to our website, it's theCookieCast.com. Over there, you've got links for social media and emails. Drop us a line, let us know how you're getting on. That's it for this one. Until next time, I'm going to say bye, and I'll see you then.